Hello and welcome, everyone. Um, we're going to look at this Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. We're going to continue our discourse into the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Um, I'm going to look at the second part, which teaches God concentration. Of course, you guys familiar with yoga already. Yoga is a system of physical disciplines, physical exercises, which has been practiced on earth for well over um, thousands of years. Originating from India, so many great masters: Krishna, Buddha, Mahavira, you name them. They've practiced yoga for a long time, and worldwide, yoga is now very highly practiced. It's gone all the way to United Nations. There is now an international yoga day. Great people like President of India, President Modi, uh, Baba Ramdev, great teachers of yoga. Ira Trivedi, she schooled in Boston, Massachusetts, and went back to India teaching yoga. All these very famous scholars, so many others. I mean, so many. There are other scholars that brought yoga to the United States and taught it for a long time. So many great people have taught yoga. Yoga is now a household name. Everybody in the world knows what yoga is. Yoga helps you for self-management. It helps you to be able to manage yourself. Um, I'm going to go through this part. The Sutras of Patanjali, which we've studied for the past, I've studied it for decades. It has part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. It's broken down into these 4 parts. And I try to compare them to like 4 years of college to try to help people to be able to relate and understand it well. So it's like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, then you graduate. Each part consists of about approximately 50 verses. So Patanjali, of course, did yoga. Why is Patanjali a special genius? What makes Patanjali so important? What makes him praiseworthy? Because of his meritorious work, spectacular work called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which is what this discourse is. I've studied this for decades. Patanjali gave an expression to yoga. People were just performing yoga with very little expression. People were just doing yoga because of if I have headache, I take Tylenol, right? I take ibuprofen. I take Panadol. Okay, I take acetaminophen. People were just looking for the medicine, okay, without getting an understanding of how it works. So Patanjali articulated, was a great writer, was able to write what is called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, ascribed to the great man. Patanjali is such a genius. These sutras that I'm teaching you, they don't require more talk than action. They require more action than talk. So they require you to actually sit, practice, read, and understand. This is the reason why Patanjali gave these discourses, to help you. And the discourse, the way he gave them, they are so weighty and so solid. It's not like thou shalt not kill or thou shalt not steal. They are not commandments. Okay, it's like a manuscript of how you should take your Tylenol or Panadol or paracetamol or ibuprofen. See that? So Patanjali is describing to you what you are doing when you stretch your hands, when you twist your body, when you breathe deeply. What are you doing? He's describing to you this self-management to try to make you successful while practicing self-management, while managing yourself, while managing your life, to try to make sure that you come out on top. That's what Patanjali is explaining. He's trying to get you enlightened. So he gives you these words, but his terms are so powerful. Written in Sanskrit, they've been translated by so many scholars. So many people have commented, written great commentaries, like Swami Vivekananda. Vivekananda is an Indian teacher that came to United States. He was here, and he translated from Sanskrit to English these Yoga Sutras. Swami Vivekananda, I like being precise. Vivekananda is his name. Very great man. He did a huge work. I mean, there are other works, there are other commentators, but he's very famous. He wrote beautiful English, and he wrote this huge work, which I have studied for so many years before I did my own translations, which I'm about to read to you now. There's also the other great teacher that was born in California, Satguru Velanswamy. He's now heading a Hindu temple in Hawaii, but was originally born in California. So Swami Velanswamy, these guys, they have great knowledge and great enlightenment, and they translated the Yoga Sutras from Sanskrit into English. So this is my translation I'm going to read to you to further simplify it to you. And I'm going to, of course, being that I've studied it for years, I'm going to be using my own terms as I've been using to try to describe this thing to you, to help you to understand. Look, the reason why we came to this world was not to die, but to live. Is the opposite. So life has an objective, but it's a journey. So we're born in the flesh, but the flesh has the spirit, and the spirit lives forever. That's why life is a kind of school. So the reason why you are in flesh is to understand your spirit. It's not to die in flesh. Your flesh is an opportunity. Your flesh is an opportunity for you to understand your immortal self. See, your flesh is an opportunity to understand the greatness of your spirit, so that you transform. So this world is a journey. You transform it from flesh to spirit. That's why we study, we pay attention. Life is an opportunity for you to understand the greater self as you transform into that greater self. This is what yoga teaches you. It's an opportunity, so don't waste the opportunity, don't lose the opportunity of life. We come to this world as flesh. While you are flesh, you're studying and understanding the greater side, the spirit, as you transform into the higher divine entity. Okay, so these words are just describing something that you have to meditate on. I'm going to read Patanjali part 2. Let's get into part 2. The discipline of Kriya Yoga has three main constituents: mortification, self-training or self-discipline, study, research or learning, particularly divine literature, and divine devotion or the dedication of all life's activities to God. In other words, offering all actions and events in life to God, the creator and master of all existence. In a nutshell, we fix our attention on God alone, exalting Him always, magnifying Him always, glorifying Him always, as life's activities and events gradually disappear and fade away into the infinite and boundless. So God concentration is practiced and recognized here. God concentration. I want you to highlight that. God concentration. For ultimately heaven and earth pass away and nothing matters but God Himself. Nothing matters but God Himself, the Creator, the Lord, and the Creator of all. The main goal of Kriya Yoga is meditation and enlightenment, leading to absolute freedom from all pain and suffering. In a nutshell, divine concentration or God concentration is life's noble goal. Divine concentration or God concentration is life's noble goal. Fixing our attention on God alone is the highest discipline. Fixing our attention on God alone is the highest discipline. While training ourselves to practice God concentration, we automatically gain liberation and freedom from all anxieties and negatives. Pain and suffering also automatically fade away. 3. There are 5 great pains and sufferings. There are 5 great pains and sufferings, 5 great troubles which constitute a nuisance and a huge distraction from divine enlightenment. These 5 troubles are ignorance of want of knowledge, I amness or egoism, attachment, aversion, and lust. Lust for life. Verse 4. Ignorance or want of knowledge is the dwelling place of all these troubles, be they inactive or inoperative, attenuated or reduced, diffused or inflamed. Ignorance is simply wrong assumptions, assuming the finite to be infinite, assuming the finite to be infinite, the unclean to be clean, the unsafe to be safe, wrong to be right, bad to be good, unreal self to be real self, unreality to be reality, etc. So I'm just giving you all these like a lecture so that you can articulate as much as you can articulate. And then later on, of course, you have the literature. You already have the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So you can always go sit down and meditate. While you play my video, you're listening to my teachings of it, my interpretation of it. It makes it easier for you to be able to understand it, to help yourself in this journey as we transform from body to soul, from flesh to spirit. As we in the transformation process, it helps you to be able to manage life, self-management, to be able to for you to accomplish this goal of life. So 6 says, I amness or egoism. Egoism is the identification of a person who sees or a person who knows with the powers of seeing or knowing. 7, attachment. Attachment is pleasure dwelling, an attraction of a person towards pleasurable experience. 8, aversion is pain dwelling, and repulsion of a person from painful experience. 9, lust. Lust again and again for life proceeding and flourishing by its own powers is established in the wisest as well as in the most stupid. We know lust is a negative thing. These subtle manifestations can be overcome by cultivating their opposites. That's 10. 11. All consequent pains and sufferings are overwhelmed and extirpated by God concentration and meditation. 12. The appearance of karma or works has its origins or roots in pains and sufferings. It develops and unfolds as experience in the present visible existence and in the future invisible existence. 13. The origin or root already in existence. Fruition arises as categories and classifications. Life and feelings and expressions of comfort and discomfort, satisfaction and dissatisfaction. 14. Satisfaction and dissatisfaction, happiness and unhappiness are the consequences or fruits of praiseworthy actions and blameworthy actions, respectively. 15. All is pain and suffering to the learned due to the discomforts involved in change, worry, and the rites and rituals of cleansing and purification. 16. The misfortune which has not yet happened may be avoided. I like this verse. The misfortune which has not yet happened may be avoided. This is the whole point of the teaching. It's trying to give you wisdom to get away from unnecessary pains and sufferings. The origin of that which may be avoided is the junction of the observer and the observed. So there is the observer, there is the observed. You are the observer and you are the observed. So you have to understand what this thing, again, you have to penetrate all these verses, body and soul. Our world of experiences has elements and senses constantly interacting. Its basic essence is perception, action and inaction, or rest. The main objective being experience and ultimate freedom or liberation. 19. These qualities are specially classified as defined and undefined, differentiated and undifferentiated. 20. The observer is precisely pure consciousness. Being pure, he perceives and penetrates the entire content of the mind. 21. The very presence, the very being of the observed is on behalf of the observer. 22. Though all created beings, all created things are perceived as unreal for the accomplished who have achieved the objective, they remain real in the sense that they, all things created, continue to produce the same experience for all. Connecting the observer with all things created is for the crystal clear acknowledgement of the world as is, as well as for the acknowledgement of the clear character and characteristics of the observer. Ignorance is the origin of this connection or attachment. 24. Ignorance is the origin of this connection or attachment. Attachment is what causes suffering, the Buddha says. When you are super attached to all the material things, you begin to suffer, and then from it's like science. They've studied all these things. They know what causes pains and suffering. It's caused by a lot of attachment. When you detach from all these material things, you still have them, can be a billionaire, but you are not super attached. You still enjoy life. You enjoy life so much. Buddha was rich. In the end, he had built a university, but he was not super attached to anything. So, 25 says, with the disappearance of ignorance comes liberation. With the disappearance of ignorance comes liberation. The ultimate freedom of the observer is the outcome of disconnecting, that is, detaching the observer from the observed. Of course. 26. The persistent practice of mindfulness and good judgment is the means of achieving freedom. In other words, liberation from ignorance. 27. Sublime intuition appears in 7 phases. 28. By the persistent practice of the various aspects of yoga, impurities are subdued and extirpated. Impurities are subdued and extirpated. Divine wisdom appears, glistening like the sun, and unveiling mystical faculties of enlightenment and discernment. 29. Now we're going to deal with the 8 limbs of yoga. Patanjali really breaks this thing down into its various departments. Okay. The 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga yoga, are A. Abstinence or external disciplines, self-control, yama. B. Observances or internal disciplines, niyama. C. Postures, asana. That's the one everybody's familiar with, right? Asana, yogasana, which is postures. D. Breath control or deep breathing, pranayama. E. Withdrawal of senses or sense detachment, pratyahara. F. Concentration, dharana. G. Meditation, dhyana. H. Blissful superconsciousness, samadhi. 30. External disciplines or self-control in conduct, yama, includes refraining from killing, non-killing, okay? Refraining from killing and violence in general. Refraining from untruthfulness. Refraining from stealing, refraining from sexual misconduct. And refraining from covetousness, 31. These 5 self-disciplines are limited by time, place, objectives, and situations, as well as class or rank, comprises the great vows. 32. Internal and external cleanliness, fulfillment, self-denial or abstinence, erudition and research, and untiring devotion to divinity are the observances or internal disciplines, the niyamas. 33. When negative thoughts, contrary to the brilliance of yoga, perturb the mind, one should cultivate opposite thoughts, contrary to the negative. It's teaching you how to solve the problem. Negative thoughts arise, you kill it with positive thoughts. A negative thing arises, you counter it with positive ideas. So you counter negative ideas with positive ideas because you're just fooling around. You know that they are ideas. You don't take thoughts seriously. Whoever takes thoughts seriously will die. So when thoughts come to your mind and thoughts begin to influence your mind, if the thoughts you study yourself, negative thoughts, you counter them with positive thoughts, right? Suppose I start feeling sad for some reason. Okay, with what I understand about the mind, I cannot feel sad for any reason, right? Because they are thoughts. I know what thoughts are. So thoughts are flowing through the mind. That's all. They are nothing, right? So thoughts are flowing, negative thoughts, you counter them with positive thoughts. It's just what you are looking at. It's like, I'll give you a charm, a great idea. It's like a torchlight. You take your torchlight and you walk in the dark. You see that? When you take your torchlight and walk in the dark, your torchlight is the only source of light you have. So if you start flashing it away from the path on which you are walking, what happens? You stumble and you fall and you get injured. You have to flash your torchlight on the path on which you're walking to be able to get to your destination. So in life, almost negative thoughts human beings are thinking are irrelevant thoughts. They take the torchlight and flash it and start looking at what is in the bush. They kick a stone and fall. See? So you have to flash you have to understand the mind to be like this. Your mind is like a torchlight in the dark. Never be sad. When you are sad, you have taken your torchlight and flashed it on the sad face of life because you are a fool. Simple. Sadness comes for people who are stupid. That's all. I am sad because I'm foolish. I have taken the torchlight and zoomed it to a sad place and occupied a valuable time of my life with grief. That's why it's foolish. So there's no cause of sadness. Take the torchlight and turn the torchlight to something else. Good and bad things have happened in our life. Why flashing your torchlight on bad things when you know the effect is going to make you sad? Take the torchlight and flash it on good things. The beautiful things that have happened in your life, you reflash your torchlight because you have the torchlight. You manipulate it. It's under your control, my friend. See, is there a reason for human beings to be sad? What is sadness? Sadness is foolishness. I turned the torchlight stupidly because I'm ignorant. I didn't learn these teachings. So you see, you turn the torchlight to something bad. Now you've killed yourself. You start eating poison and drinking poison in the cup of tea. You get poison, you get sick and die. You can take that same torchlight. It's under your control. All the emotions that go on in our lives is totally under our control. You have the torchlight. It's what you are flashing your memory to. It's your computer. Your brain is your computer. You are the one flashing your memories. So when you're sad, you flashed your memory to a sad page. Why should you do that? Because you didn't study. You are ignorant. You have not read these things. So you now know better. I'm not going to take a cup of tea in the morning and put some poisons, right? Sheltox, Raid, spray for killing cockroaches and spray it into my cup of tea. I die. That's all that happens. You don't poison yourself. All the negative things that have happened in your life, thou shalt not turn thy mind unto them. Simple. You are in control of your life. All the beautiful things that have happened in your life, thou shalt turn thy mind unto beautiful things, unto the flowers, unto the gardens. A lot of wonderful things have happened in your life. Turn your torchlight to the beautiful things and enjoy life. Simple. And every negative thing and every bad thing that happened in your life, no, ignore them. It's wisdom. So that's what Patanjali, when you study Patanjali Yoga Sutras, you get this brilliant understanding of life. You no longer get sad. About 50 years, I've lived half a century. There are so many things in my life that should make me sad. I just don't flash the torchlight to them. I'm not interested in sadness. I flash my torchlight to the happy things that have happened. I'm a wise man. So that wisdom is what Patanjali is teaching you. Thou shalt not turn thy torchlight to the bad things and the negative things and the sad things that have happened in your life. Otherwise, you will respond by becoming depressed or sad. Thou shalt turn thy torchlight, which is totally under your control, to the brilliant things that have happened in your life, to the garden, the beauty, the red flowers, the lilies, the roses, the hyacinths, the beautiful flowers of your life. Turn thy torchlight to the brilliant things, to your garden, to the flowers, and you shall be happy. Okay? So this is what the sutras are teaching us. I'm going to pause there and I'm going to allow you to practice some meditation. This is a very important teaching. So I'm going to take my time to try to teach you to understand it. Never be sad in life again. There's just no cause for sadness. Do not take your torchlight and flash it to negative things that have happened in life. If you do, you become sad. This is a very important teaching. I want you to get it. Take the torchlight of your life that is under your control and flash it to positive things, and you shall be happy.